Bismillah, welcome back to another video where we will be discussing some tips for fasting the 6 days at least in Shawwal. But first, I will be taking you all with me shopping for a new computer. Assalamu alaikum. Today is a really exciting day. As you can see, I popped on some lashes, I did a little eyebrows, and I'm about to put some more lip gloss on for these dry Ramadan lips. Right now it's great because I just got in savings that I was looking for a while now, and what I'm about to do is go ahead and flip that, get a laptop, a temporary one for work. And I'm gonna really keep this brief because it's encouraged not to talk much when fasting, that we are also fasting from speech. And so this is gonna be really short and sweet, hopefully. But I'm on my way out to Target, my favorite place. It's a specific Target that has a great $200 laptop. And what the plan is to just use it for work until, inshallah, my original one, which I miss so much, gets repaired and I get it back, so I can then return this one. It's a temporary one, so to speak. FYI, Lenovo is a scam. Their warranties, let's say, because I like the laptop itself, but I specifically got it thinking about the warranty and feeling comforted by it. And it'd be one thing if they tell you that the warranty takes a few days or whatever. However, their warranties are when you send the laptop in for repair. I sent it at the end of March. It is the middle of May, and I have yet to hear that the status is back on the way to me. So that being said, it would be fine, but they actually promised that it would be this picked out in my mind which one I want. I really like their services where you can pick up, like you can order on the app and it'll be ready for you when you get there. Alhamdulillah, it's just so early right now. I think it's about 6:30, if that, and they're not even open until 8. So I just think the cat was so cute, inshallah. But yeah, they're not even open until 8. So there is a chance they would have it ready, but you also have to pay up front with that. So it's better to just, for me, get going, get some fresh air, soak in some of that vitamin D. Haven't been out the house in a second, and also get these legs moving. Alhamdulillah, I'm really thankful that this is the one of the first Ramadans that I'll be on my period twice in, like literally a full period from start to finish. So I'll have hecka days to make up, but alhamdulillah, I'm looking for my period any day now. And at the beginning of Ramadan, so I began Ramadan literally the day of on my period, and I'm ending, inshallah, like any day now. I'm thinking Tuesday onwards, then to Eid, inshallah, I will be on my period. So lots of focused ibadah and hopefully being able to feed others and focus on work as well, because that's also a service. So trying to stack that bread. I'm thankful because I'll be going grocery shopping, inshallah, tomorrow. And I'm praying and hoping that my period comes through before then, if not Tuesday morning sharp. Like, that would be amazing because then I wouldn't have those temptations while shopping. You know, you'd be getting all kind of stuff you don't need when you're on your period, or when you're fasting and you're grocery shopping. You come out with all this stuff like you did not need that. And just because you're fasting, everything looks bomb. And hashtag bus struggle bus. When you're on the bus, you save a transfer. That's time. Time is money. So I said, hey, why not, spare a good $20 more. I like Walmart's because they do have a 30-day return policy compared to, Target, I think, may have a similar return policy, but I'm just thinking about time. Already a little bit behind on the training, and those are hours that are being lost. So alhamdulillah, you'll see here that I have the HP. So I'm going to turn this off so I can be vigilant, because as it is, there's some shady figures. You know, there was somebody on the bus that had to get woken up because he was sleeping on the back of the bus. So I know the struggle. We talked about lightening up, keeping it light. And so fasting lightens us up. It frees our soul from the dunya, and it helps us come close to death, which can also help soothe pain. So it's really great in that way. And one way that one teacher put it, Imam Mendez, said that we need to stop depriving our stomachs of hunger, of emptiness. And it's a really interesting way to look at it. Usually we think of ourselves as being deprived of food or being deprived of, you know, these material things. But when our stomachs are growling, he says it's actually protesting the contents that are in it. It's protesting how full it is, not how hungry you are. So it's a nice perspective shift. I know for me, that mindset can be encouraging when you're having a hard time with the fast. And it helps also to feed, there's a saying, feed your faith and watch your problems starve to death. So when we go through various du'as and supplications, like we're getting ready to do with the Dalail al-Khairat, the Guide to Goodness, Quran, naturally, reading different books, like just spiritual nature books, or even things that aren't necessarily spiritual, like religious, but that have certain undertones that may encourage us or inspire us. An example might be, this is really random, but The Alchemist. It's not a religious book, but there's lots of anecdotes, lots of quotes, and ways of looking at things that might push us along. Also, gratitude is the attitude that was in the last soul fast. Mashallah, we are done with those for now, but we want to continue on that path. Gratitude is our path, literally. Allah tells us in the Quran, which we mentioned before, about the Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. So if we are thankful, we're appreciative, Allah will appreciate us. Allah will give us more. That's another meaning for appreciation, right? And if we cover up our blessings, if we're kufr, that literally has to do with covering, then Allah is free of need. Al-Ghani is like the one who is not in need, Al-Hamid, the one who is all worthy of praise. So we can reference this and really just going on a spree, any little thing we can think of to be thankful for, focusing on that, you know, basking in that, and then inshallah we'll forget and release any kind of attachment we have to conditions like food and drink. Another tip that one of my friends actually gave, her name is Ahlam, she was saying that usually hunger passes, like it's very slim, and so usually if you're tempted to eat, you're hungry, you're extra, you know, struggling really with the hunger and thirst part, then usually that is passing. So if we're able to just look forward to the next salah versus the whole day, then it can make it a lot easier. And that's how it is with life, right? When we're looking so far ahead, we can get frustrated with the step by step. Whereas if we only focus on what's next, step by step by step, then before we know it, inshallah, we'll be at our destination. We'll be, and we'll more so feel that contentment that comes along with the journey, inshallah. There's logical reasons why we would want to really stay on our fasts and really be vigilant about keeping them. Its logic is not to be shunned. Aql is a gift from Allah, so while we're not only thinking logically, like we also have a place in Islam, a very sacred place for the heart and things that are beyond reason. We do affirm that there are certain logical things, for instance, saving money on food that you don't necessarily need. That quarantine weight that a lot of people are picking up, that's going to be helped with the fasting. So these are all things we know, but once we think about them all together and we know, like, hey, you're not alone. Like, everyone is going through this that is practicing, you know, everyone that is Muslim, and even those who are not. I know people who are in primarily Muslim communities, for instance, Atlanta, who are fasting and they are not Muslim, but they just really respect it, and they really, inshallah, are interested in the path based on what they've seen of their friends in their community. So we're not alone in it. It's definitely helpful to, at least for me, to consider in that way. And it's just a training. Think about it like spiritual training. It trains not only the stomach, but the mind and the spirit for intimacy. Literal meaning of intimacy that matters, that is divine intimacy, that we can bear our souls to Allah and therefore see a reflection of our own states. And how can we correct ourselves? How can we develop and transform if we're not even aware of our starting point? So it's definitely crucial. For sisters in particular, we have an extended Ramadan, right? When Ramadan is over, we have to make up the fast. So it's not like we're missing out on the barakah of the fast, because we're still making them up later, and that is still considered a part of it. So that's a big blessing, and it's exclusive to sisters, to women. So that is about it as far as encouragement and tips for fasting. If you have any tips or encouragement that you would like to share for the community and others, then please feel free, as was mentioned, to type those in. We can all use help, even if we don't admit it. Of course, there are levels. Some people may not struggle with eating and drinking, but maybe they struggle with other things. Maybe they're even fine with the material things, but they're not feeling grateful about it. There's so many different levels and realities that go into our practices, our spiritual practices. So may Allah make it easy regardless of where we're at. The ultimate tip, though, would definitely be the spiritual nourishment piece, beyond just reading books, to make dua, talk to Allah, pray to Allah, turn to Allah about whenever you're tempted, even thoughts or thinking of breaking the fast, things like that. It helps to just have that conversation with Allah and make dua, and just know that Allah is most merciful. So it's not like this is unnatural. That's the whole point of the fast, is that we're going to experience times when we are struggling, and that's a part of the journey, and that's a part of being human, and we're thankful for that. But it's not the end of the world. I mean, some people may not agree with that, and this is not encouragement to break the fast, but that especially in times like these where we're all going through collective traumas, there's majority would agree that with the mental health issues that come with it, it is not the end of the world if we have to break our fast. That ultimately there is a thing called tawbah, and that is a means of getting close to Allah and even gaining Allah's favor. That it can only be tasted experientially. Some people may say, like, okay, you have to just do this, but only the real will be able to understand the closeness and the sweetness that comes through sinning or making a mistake and then turning back to Allah through tawbah. So, but that ultimately will save a lot of drama, a lot of trouble in the long run if we just go through with it. Just stick it out, just do it, and then inshallah come iftar, we'll be set. It's not something to be taken lightly, because it's a word with Allah. Promise to Allah that we're doing this. It's one of the 5 pillars, so it's definitely crucial. And regardless of whether we complete the fast or not, it's still on us to make up for it, to make up for the fast. So we're gonna have to do it regardless. We're gonna have to complete the fast, so why not do it during the sacred time, among others, and with the barakah of Ramadan, inshallah. The very time, like the very moment we're struggling or thinking of kind of making a mistake or a sin, Allah will have come through with something. For instance, there's a story about someone who was so hungry, they were broke, and they didn't have like any plans for food, and they just saw something really quick and easy, so they got that. They broke their fast a couple, maybe 2-3 hours before iftar, and then a friend or a family member of theirs actually invited them to some event where they had like literally a feast of food, and had they waited for just a few more hours, that they would have been so much more satisfied going to an event like that versus going and already being full and just breaking the fast haphazardly. So hopefully there was something that's in there that can help, and if so, share it with someone else who can use it. We're going to transition to Dalal al-Khairat, inshallah.